June 2014, WagerTalk joined Twitter. August 2014, Prez loaded the first ever picks at WagerTalk. September 2014, Marco D'Angelo and Gianni the Greek filmed the first ever video for WagerTalk TV. Fast forward to today, and we now have over 58,000 Twitter followers, 110,000 subscribers on YouTube, and have become the premier brand in sports betting. So thank you. We truly appreciate everyone who has supported this amazing journey. And on Thursday, January 19th at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, all daily picks packages that day will be priced at $11, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35. And all one day all access normally priced at $39 will be cut in half and priced at only $19. No coupons will be needed. All handicappers at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo are included in Customer Appreciation Day. And discounts will go live at midnight Wednesday, January 18th.
Welcome into the NBA tip-off show here at WagerTalk TV. Happy Friday the 13th. Let's not let our bets change the way we think on Friday the 13th. We've got a great slate of NBA games here and a perfect cast of characters with Tony Mejia, Andy Lang, and Brian Power, all of WagerTalk.com. Good slate in the NBA. We'll get into all this action here, but first, what's up, everyone? Andy, Tony, Brian, big week in college hoops, NBA, Super Wild Card Weekend. Andy, start us off. What do you got going on at WagerTalk.com?
Wow, packed weekend. Got a 5% NFL play up for Wild Card Weekend. UFC is back, so we got a 4% best bet that is up there. We also have NBA plays that are up. We've got a golf tournament that's going on, so a lot of really good things. 5% NFL plays, what we've been best at, 17-8 this season. But if you want to grab a 3-day pass, you'll get all of those. We got a really, really bettable UFC card. So we expect to turn a really decent amount of profit on UFC and NFL this weekend. And, of course, let's get the weekend kicked off with some NBA tonight. So looking forward to a great night and a great weekend.
Am I the only one that didn't know there's Wager Talk swag? Andy, I'm going to have to link up with you later to figure out where I can get one of those sweatshirts. I like it. I like it. Brian, what's going on with you? What do you have over at wagertalk.com?
Well, what's going on, Megan, is that we survived our first 5% play of the college hoop season last night. San Diego gets it done. They were up 19 in the second half. They won by 3, laying 2.5. If they would have blown that, I joked on the college hoop show earlier today. I don't think I would have showed up for work today, but they got it home, and we're feeling good. We got another 5% play loaded for the NFL this weekend. That was our 4th straight 5% winner, by the way, last night across all sports. And today is the last day to take advantage of a deal that I've got running. 3-day pass, $39. That will get you that 5% play in the NFL. It will also get you, all of my plays today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And we will have a lot of plays, UFC, soccer, and hoops, in addition to the NFL playoffs.
Love to hear it. Tony, what about you? What's going on? WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, things have been going well, Megan. Went to 7-1, I want to say, over my last 8 4% NBA plays last night with the Thunder and 76ers getting over. It was rather handily, too, but I did not expect Oklahoma City to do the heavy lifting on that. And the under in the Miami Heat Milwaukee Bucks game squeaked by. So now we're at 15-3 over our last 18 total, 7-1-1 on 5% plays across all sports. Got one of those on the NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. And college basketball was great last Saturday, so we'll hope to have a big college basketball Saturday tomorrow as well. Just humming along and looking forward to a big weekend. So get on board.
We have a great show here for you guys. As always, we'll go through our Contrarian play of the day, see what the Contrarian gods have up their sleeves. We'll go with the featured game, get everyone's ideas and takes. We've got an overtime. As always, we'll try to find a best bet and a dog. Let's look at it. What do the Contrarian gods have for us? The play of the day is Wizards plus 4.5. Tip-off at 7:10 p.m. Eastern, taking on the Knicks, a total at 225.5. I don't know. I mean, I've been proven wrong with the Contrarian Gods before. It's hard for me to back the Wizards. The Knicks are the best road cover team in the NBA, 14-6 on the road, covering 70% of those road games. Tony, let's come to you. What's your approach? Are you rolling with the Contrarian Gods here?
I am not. I need to see if Daniel Gafford and Kristaps Porzingis are going to suit up. Monte Morris also questionable. So, I mean, that's three key cogs right there. I don't want to be overly reliant on Rui Hachimura off the bench or Corey Kispert to knock down 5 threes if I'm going to ride the Washington side. And the Knicks have actually been pretty consistent. You know, you mentioned their road success. They got back R.J. Barrett off an injury, and he's playing a little better. Julius Randle, one of the streakiest shooters in the league, but when he gets on, he's on. And then you've got Jalen Brunson, who's been playing well and running that point. So they're rebounding well. If you don't have Porzingis and Gafford out there, they're going to be overly small against Mitchell Robinson and Randle and a team that gang rebounds pretty well. So yeah, this is absolutely a Knicks spot or pass for me. And basically, if Porzingis and Gafford and Morris are out, or any combination of 2 out of those 3, I will pass on Washington and ride the Knicks. Wizards have lost 3 out of the last 4 games. They beat the Bulls a couple of nights ago, but I think they'll come back down to earth against New York.
Yeah, and Jalen Brunson, by the way, averaging 33 points this month. I'd kind of maybe eye his player prop. Andy, 24.5, maybe that's something we're looking at. What is your thought for Contrarian Gods here? They've got Wizards plus 4.5.
Interesting you brought up that prop, because I'm gonna zig. I think everyone might be
Ooh.
zagging on Brunson, so I'm gonna be the only one not playing Jalen Brunson. I'm actually going to play the other guard, RJ Barrett, over 21.5 points, because guards have just been torching this Wizards team. 3 guards in a row have had 30 or more points against this Wizard team, and if Porzingis is out, there's another big body that will open up the lane. Brunson, as you mentioned, averaging 33 points in January, but Barrett had 27 points in his first game back from the finger injury. He took 12 3-point shots. He made 4 of them. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, and he played 41 minutes. So obviously playing time's not a big deal. The shooting doesn't look like it's affected. So you're getting a higher total on Brunson. Brunson's the one that everyone will focus on. I'll try and fly under the radar here a little bit with RJ Barrett over 21.5 points. As for the Contrarian Gods, I just don't go against the Contrarian Gods. It just has all the Knicks are playing great. They're only laying a few points. They should smash the Wizards. Porzingis, this is a classic Contrarian Gods play for whatever reason. I will ride with them, and I will take the points with the Wizards. But player prop, yeah, RJ Barrett over his points.
As I said, I have been wrong before, but the Wizards still without Bradley Beal, dealing with that left hamstring strain. Bryan, it's hard for me to back the Wizards. What's your take?
It is hard to back the Wizards, Megan. You know, they only scored 100 points in that victory against the Bulls. They were behind in the first half. It doesn't give you a lot of confidence. You mentioned Beal is out for sure. Porzingis, we're still waiting on that status. But here's the thing, and it's probably why the Contrarian Gods are pointing us at the Wizards. You really can't trust this Knicks team to hold a lead. In their last 2 games, they were up 25 in the second half on Indiana. They win by only 6. They were up 17 on the Bucks. They lose that game by 4, and those were at home. Their last 4 games on the road, they lost to Dallas. They lost to San Antonio, beat Houston. And then there's a 4-point win over Toronto. They have as you mentioned, a good cover record away from home this year, but might that come back down to earth? Laying a short number, to me, this is actually take the points or pass. I don't like to defy the Contrarian Gods either. I would say jump on it if you get as soon as you see Porzingis' status. If he's in, jump on it right away, because the number will go down if he plays.
Knicks have won the last 4 of 5. Meanwhile, the Wizards 2 of their last 5. That's it for the Contrarian Gods. Let's go over to our featured game. That is the Nuggets at Clippers. Tip-off is at 10:10 p.m. Eastern. The Clippers are a 4.5-point favorite. We're seeing the total right now at 221. Clippers have only won one of the last 5 games, but Kawhi Leonard just had his best game of the season against the Mavs 2 days ago, putting up 33 points. Is this the time to jump on the Clippers? Andy, how are you approaching Denver, LA?
This is an interesting game with Jokic not being there. I looked over the injury report and I just missed that Jokic was not going to play because I could not understand why the Nuggets team total was 108.5. I wrote these down. I was like, wait a minute, they've scored 121 or more in 4 straight games. They've gone over this total in 11 straight games. The Clippers have given up this total in 9 out of 10. Oh, Jokic is out. 3 games without Jokic this season. They've scored 103, 99, and 98. So be careful. Just a word of warning if you didn't notice that. So for player prop, I'm going to go to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope over 10.5 points. I like his opportunity tonight. 3 games in a row. He's played well, 14, 16, and 15 points. Clippers are allowing a lot of points on the perimeter. Luka and Trae Young just had really, really big games against them. Luka had over 40. Trae Young had 30 exactly. I wanted to look at Jamal Murray's point total, but it's 20.5, and Jamal Murray just is not a guy that normally gets over this total. He had a huge game against the Lakers, but even in this big blowout that they had against the Clippers, he didn't get over the 20 points. So I like these lower totals for KCP at 10.5. Very manageable number. We're getting a good price. He has not missed a free throw this month, and he's shooting 54.2% from three-pointers this month. So a weak Clippers perimeter defense should equal some good perimeter points. I'll take KCP over 10.5 points for one of my favorite plays today.
Yeah, and Jokic, by the way, ruled out with that right wrist injury. It's hard to bet against or bet for this team when you've got a Jokic guy that just plays so dominant. He's one of the best passers, and I feel like he's just the heart to this team. I'm not going to back Denver until we see him back out there. Bryan, what's your take for Nuggets Clippers?
Well, I was glad to hear that Andy was encountering some issues breaking down this game too, because I was the same way. I was like, why is this line moving like this? I'm like, I kind of like the Clippers, but what are we doing? And then it was like, oh, Jokic isn't playing. Wow, that's it. It was just sort of casually thrown out there. It's sort of a big deal, as you both have mentioned. And also a big deal, I think, is that this is a big revenge spot for the Clippers. We talked about this game on the program last week when these teams last played. Denver humiliated the Clippers, beat them by 31. Starters got pulled early. And I think the Clippers players, the coaching staff, remember that game, and they're going to want revenge here. It's actually a double revenge spot. They're 0-2 against Denver this year. Yes, no Paul George for the Clippers, but you mentioned the big game Leonard had. Megan, my lean was to the Clippers anyway, even before I figured out that Jokic was out. So even with the line move, I would still play the favorite here. Denver, you just gotta throw their offensive numbers out the window, like Andy said. And the Nuggets are just 7-12 on the road to begin with against the number. So I am on the Clippers minus the points in this game tonight.
Tony, how about you? What are you thinking for Nuggets Clippers here?
Well, my free play for the masses at wt.buzz/TM this morning was Nuggets Clippers under 224. And this was before Jokic was ruled out, but he was listed as questionable this morning. And I noticed that he only had 5 field goal attempts on Monday. He shot 10 of 15 in the blowout win over the Suns, but only one of those shots was beyond 5 feet. And he was 1 of 3 from free throws. So clearly this is bothering him. This is the only road game that the Nuggets will have in a 10-game stretch. So they're playing 9 games at home at Ball Arena, and this is the only one. So it's really a Clipper spot from that standpoint. I get Jokic healthy if I'm Denver, especially since they're surging. And, at this point, you wonder how Denver is going to facilitate offense, considering so much of what they do runs through Jokic, best passing big man I've ever seen. I mean, Sabonis was up there. I saw him when I was a kid. There's been some others, but given what Nikola Jokic brings to the table, I mean, he's if he wanted to play, he'd be effective tonight. The fact he doesn't play, that means you're going to see more Zeke Naji and JaVale McGee. They do nothing for me. Maybe they'll play small ball, but I'm going to stick with my underplay, even though it's come down to 221.5. There's some 222s out there. Just not enough movement there to sway me off of that under with Jokic now out. Also, Paul George is the one guy that gives you easy buckets if you're the LA Clippers. So with him out of the lineup, everything goes through Kawhi Leonard, and it takes time for them to get him in the high post, get him isolated, or the low post, or depending on what they want to do. Luke Kennard, their best shooter, is out tonight. And as Brian mentioned, this is a revenge spot. The Clippers have been owned by Denver over the last 4 meetings. They've lost them all. They got embarrassed the other night. So this is a grit and grind game for LA, and they're certainly capable of toughening up and clamping down. So to me, I've got these both as client plays. So for our viewers, we're riding with the LA Clippers laying 4 as a 2% play and the under as a 3% play, and that write-up is available on my page. But keep in mind, I wrote it very early this morning, so it still says that I think Jokic is going to play, and obviously now he has been ruled out.
Still leaning towards Clippers there. Tip off at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's time for overtime. This is where we look at the totals. You guys tell me if you like the overs, if you like the unders. We're looking at the Golden State Warriors at the San Antonio Spurs for our overtime game. Tip-offs at 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Warriors are an 8.5-point favorite, but let's talk total here. Total's at 243.5. It opened at 240. We're seeing this move up. This is a high total. I mean, I know we're talking about two poor defensive teams in the Warriors and the Spurs, but is this a little high? Andy, I want to come to you first on this. What's your take? 243.5.
Well, it's a hokey game. They're playing this in this. I don't know. I don't want anything to do with the total or player props in this one because this just seems like it's really set up for a Steph Curry showcase. So the first play immediately is you're taking Steph Curry over his points. I heard someone make the case that even Greg Popovich will help make this game a showcase for Steph Curry by maybe giving him a couple of open looks here to put on a show in this featured game. Vassell is still out for San Antonio, so for the Spurs, you're looking at Keldon Johnson probably to have a big game. I just don't see there being a whole lot of defense. But that being said, this is a new arena to both these teams. Maybe it throws off their shooting a little bit to start off with. It wouldn't surprise me if we actually saw a little bit of a low scoring first quarter as they get used to this new setup that they're in. So I don't have anything concrete or anything I truly believe in this game because I don't know, it seems like a glorified scrimmage for me, to me. So I can't put any money on this game, but you're definitely looking at Steph. Now, if you can find a prop on Steph Curry over his shot attempts, yes, fire away. This guy's going to be hoisting up a lot. But yeah, as far as props or as far as totals, I actually kind of lean the under in this one because one bad quarter of shooting in this game will go under, and I think in the new settings, you could get a first quarter that might be a little clunky. So nothing really strong. It's kind of a little bit of a stay away for me.
Brian, the Spurs have the worst defensive rating in the league, and the Warriors 22nd in defense. Are you eyeing the over or the under here?
So Andy makes a really good point. When a total is this high, you can't have anything go wrong. And what are the sight lines going to be? And what is there going to be 65,000 people there tonight? Yeah. It's a pretty crazy situation. I do expect the Warriors to hold up their end of the bargain when it comes to scoring. I'll have more on that in the best bet segment. San Antonio is just atrocious. I've got them rated as the worst team in the league. You mentioned being dead last in defensive efficiency, Megan. The problem is they're 28th in offensive efficiency. And if this game turns into a blowout, which, spoiler alert, I think it probably will, the scoring could slow down late as well. Since Joe isn't here and I can break the rules maybe a little bit, I'm going to say, what about the Warriors team total over? That might be, I think, because I think they, like I said, they're going to hold up their end of the scoring. San Antonio's letting opponents hit nearly 40% from three, guys, and it's January. That's bad. I mean, what are we doing defensively there?
Well, the Warriors are averaging just under 117 points per game. Good eye there. I like that angle, Tony. How are you approaching this, aka glorified scrimmage between the Warriors and the Spurs?
Well, Ryan said the key word for me is sightlines. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yum yum. Give me some for when I see Final Four venues and even the Elite Eight where they play these at stadiums and they have the court in the middle, but those are kids and those are non-professionals. And this is obviously the best shooting team we've ever seen in the Golden State Warriors and a bunch of pros for the Spurs. They got Doug McDermott, who's a sniper. At the same time, Curry still shaking off the rust from being out so long. He was 8 of 22 and 5 of 15 from three in the previous game. This is a tough atmosphere to kind of get acclimated to. You've got 65,000 fans almost packing into the Alamo Dome. It's going to be the highest attended NBA game in history. So it might take a while unless we see a first quarter that ends up 40-34. I would not feel comfortable with 243.5. This is a why so high situation because I put the number at 236 and then it was 240 to open, got up to 244. Now I see it at 243.5. Warriors big man rotations taking a hit of late because Kuminga and JaMychal Green and James Wiseman are out. The most proficient San Antonio scorer Darius Vassell has been out. So Keldon Johnson got hurt, although he's back. Under a pass for me, and probably a pass.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. 243.5 seems a bit high for a Spurs team that is, as you all are mentioning, probably the worst, if not top 3 worst in the NBA. I'll shy away from that one as well. Okay, it's time for That's My Dog.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
The dogs we've got today: Indiana, Washington, Detroit, San Antonio, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, Orlando, Denver, and Houston. Who wants to go first? How about Brian? What do you have for your dog of the day?
Well, I guess I'm going kind of a little weak here, but the shortest dog on the board. But look, guys, we've talked about it on the program before. The Indiana Pacers were supposed to be bad this year. I get it. But they have clearly surpassed expectations. One more win, in fact, and they go over their preseason win total for the year in mid-January. That is just pretty incredible. I just don't know why, on the other side, you'd want to lay points with this Atlanta team. They're 14, pardon me, as chalk. They're a mess internally. They have just 2 wins since Christmas. And then Indiana, 14-7-1 against the number at home, 15-7 straight up. It's pretty simple. I have these teams rated very evenly. I just do not understand why the road team is favored at all. I think Indiana's the better team, and they are my dog on Friday night.
Tony, who's barking for you?
I'm going to ride with the Thunder, who was good to me last night by carrying the water more than Philadelphia. And granted, the Thunder are not a good defensive team, and it does worry me that they are on the second night of a back-to-back after such a big win. Really, they were outscored, I believe, 13-0 to start the second half, and then just pulled through. Came right back at Philadelphia, and were a really solid offensive team all night long, sharing the basketball. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the catalyst, but Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, they all got involved, and now they are all clear on the injury report. So all these guys are all hands on deck. DeMar DeRozan will likely sit due to a quad strain. I saw him get hurt the other night. Didn't look good. I'm glad it's not a long-term injury because he's getting up there in age, but it looks like it'll at least keep him out tonight. Zach LaVine is a go, but I think the Thunder are live dogs tonight on the road in Chicago. So give me the points with OKC.
All right, Andy, who are you taking for your underdog tonight?
Well, I was doing my write-up on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then Tony put a message in Slack that he was going with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh.
So I don't like repeating, but I will say I like where Tony's going with the Thunder. I'm going back to the Spurs and the Warriors. Huge discrepancy in talent on these two teams, but this unique venue and this unique situation, I think, kind of evens it out a little bit. And I would like to point out that one team has lost 3 games in a row coming into this game, and they've given up 121, 121, and 135. That's the Spurs. But the other team has lost 3 in a row, and they've given up 122, 115, and 125 the last 3 games. Not exactly a great defensive showing here by Golden State. It's been well documented how bad they are on the road. And their last 2 road games, they were at Brooklyn where they gave up 143 points. They were at the Knicks where they gave up 132 points. And in this unique venue, I just think that I think that there is no real advantage for a team like the Warriors. We know they can shoot lights out of home, but they struggle on the road. So what happens when we're playing in a place that neither of these teams have played? So I'm going to take the San Antonio Spurs to cover here. They're rested. They played Memphis twice. Now they lost both of those, but they stayed within 6 points and they stayed within 8 points of them. And then their loss previous to that, they played Boston and they stayed within 5 points. I don't think this Golden State team is that much better. So give me the Spurs to cover this one. I think it might be an entertaining, fun game, but I don't think that there's going to be a blowout. I think that there's going to be some value on the Spurs tonight.
All right. I might be a little crazy, but I might look at Suns here. I know we all want to talk about the big three and Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker, but this Suns team is a well-built and deep team. I mean, Mikal Bridges, he has not missed a single game, by the way, in his entire college career, NBA career. And I just like what they've been able to do, even without those 3 players. I mean, they're not, I don't know if they come up with the win, but I kind of like them to cover. Great stuff for our underdog sections. But now it's time for my favorite part of the show, and that is our best bets. You all know the rules. You get 60 seconds on the clock. Say whatever you want during those 60 seconds. Give us one best bet. Make sure you're in and out before the timer goes off. Tony Mejia, you are up first. Give us your best bet.
All right. Well, my internet has decided to be spotty right now, so I may be very brief. But our producer, Robert Harris, was very excited in the fourth quarter of the other night in Sacramento. It was 95-94.
I think Tony Mejia immediately
wasn't
loses
joking.
the best bet section.
Wow,
He
that was
wasn't joking.
wow, best
Oh,
bet.
he's back.
Tony
He's back.
Mejia's
Still
internet.
He's back. Tony's
Go,
back.
Go, go.
Oh, look.
Oh, he's lost again.
Oh.
You know what? Tony Mejia, we'll come back to you if we can. You're getting an X on best bets. We're switching over to Andy. Andy, you've got 60 seconds on the clock. Your best bet section is starting, I believe. Now, go, Andy.
Oh, Robert, cover your ears. I'm going to go against the Houston Rockets here. I'm going to take Domantas Sabonis over his point total. It's 21.5. These two teams are playing back-to-back against each other. And in the previous game, Sacramento put up 135 points, and Domantas Sabonis had 25 of those, 9 of 12 from the field, 7 of 9 from the free throws. He had a big game. The poor Rockets, they're not doing much defense interior. They're not doing much defense on the perimeter. So I think this is a pretty good Domantas Sabonis game. I was looking at some of the combos of maybe points, rebounds, and assists, but I'm just going to stick with the points on Domantas Sabonis. And I've got a little time left, and I want to say, NBA Tip-Off has one of the best chat rooms on WagerTalk. It's all positivity. It's all people talking about the sport. I've noticed we were getting some negativity in some of the other shows, but NBA Tip-Off chat group still remains one of the best on WagerTalk. We don't say thank you sometimes, but I want to say thank you to the chat room. You guys are awesome.
It's okay that you went over, Andy. We can give some shout outs here on the chat room right now. We've got Joe Blow, Washington Redskin Baptism. We've got DT plus the points, Jave Cash, and a lot of other ones. And I'm sure you guys have seen all of these. We appreciate everyone here at NBA Tip-Off Show. But Tony Mejia, you're back and you're ready. I'd say we give you about 30 seconds. Does that seem fair, everyone? I don't think he deserves a full 60 seconds, right? 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Even with Kevin Porter Jr. out, the Rockets and Kings played a 67-62 first half, and he got hurt in the early in that game. But the Rockets were victimized 41-20 in that fourth quarter. I agree with Andy that Sabonis is going to have a big night, but I like both teams to get to a accelerated pace early. Mike Brown lets the Kings do what they want basically early in the half before he asks for defense. So go over the 121.5 first half points.
Right on cue. Perfect job, Tony. Bryan, end us out with a bang. What do you have for your best bet? 60 seconds on the clock starts now.
Okay, as he just proved again with his kind words towards everyone in the chat room, Andy Lang, I think, is one of the finest people in the United States of America. I have a ton of respect for him, but I'm going to disagree with him on the Golden State San Antonio game because I think Golden State is going to just eat San Antonio for dinner here. Look, they go 6-5 in the 11 games without Steph Curry. He comes back, and then they lay an egg against the undermanned Phoenix Suns. Kerr ripped the team, said they let their guard down. Quote, we didn't start competing until it was too late. So we're going to get a motivated Golden State team, national television, against a horrible opponent who's dead last in point differential, dead last in net efficiency, dead last defensive efficiency, 28th offensive efficiency. And when these teams met earlier in the season, it was 132-95 Warriors. Yes, that was at home, but it's not a true home game here for the Spurs. I think it bothers them more than Golden State. Yes, the road record ATS stinks, but I'm laying the points anyway. Golden State is the best bet.
Right on cue. Awesome stuff, guys. I'm going to lay a 24.5 over on Jalen Brunson for my best bet. But if you want to bet with the best in the business, go look at Andy Lang, Bryan Power, Tony Mejia. Take a peek right now at their dogs and their best bets. This is all for the NBA slate of Friday, January 13th. There's no negative energy here on the 13th of Friday. We are still going to win some bets here. We appreciate you all joining in on the NBA tip-off show. Stay with us because more stuff and more NFL action this weekend. Appreciate you guys.
College football is over, the NFL is winding down, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood until Sunday, January 22nd, we are slashing NBA, college basketball, and NHL season passes from $4.59 all the way down to $2.99 with no coupon needed. This special price locks in your favorite handicappers in the sport of your choice through the championship for pennies on the dollar versus buying daily packages. And since the price will remain $2.99 through midnight on January 22nd, the earlier you buy, the more days you get included at no additional cost. How much are you saving? College basketball comes to just $3.55 per day through March Madness, and the NBA and NHL discounts come out to just under $60 per month to lock in your favorite handicapper through the finals or Stanley Cup. Go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk and or Sports Memo and lock in your sports through the championship for only $2.99 each. If you want to combine handicappers or multiple sports, email us and we can work out an even more significant discount for you.